Nearly the entire city is depending on us to celebrate something significant. And I'll be perfectly clear, anywhere else, I wouldn't do this work.
I sold the bars and I was like, all right, well, you invented yourself before, let's do it again.
Welcome if this is your first time, and if it's not, good to see you again. You know, as Patrick mentioned at DBL Law, you know, part of the Made It series, the idea behind it is our stories. And at DBL Law, we're a full service general law firm, and we represent businesses from beginning to end since 1965. And what that means is that we get to be a part of our clients' stories. I kind of joke that I get to do the boring legal stuff so people like you can realize your dreams. And I really take a lot of pride in that. And with our community partners too, which is what makes today's program, I think, really special. And because, you know, usually it's about businesses, but this is where entrepreneurship meets culture and creativity and really merging those two passions of community and business. So with that, with us, we have Rico Grant. He's founder of Palooza Noir and executive director of SoCap Accelerate. Rico blends hospitality, art, and community impact. He's launched urban ventures and leads programs, empowering young leaders and entrepreneurs of color. His projects include the Juneteenth Block Party, Black and Brown Faces at the Cincinnati Art Museum, one of my favorites, and the 17 Under 17 Awards. And we also welcome Rico.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
And we also have Molly Wellmann, award-winning mixologist, cocktail historian, and entrepreneur. Molly creates immersive drink experiences, and she mentors future talent and has helped Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky on the craft cocktail map. So welcome, Molly. So usually we start Made It. So all of our Made It guests have been businesses like a Braxton, they brewed beer. And I start by saying, where'd you get the idea? But we have to start with a little different today because we need you each to tell us what you do.
Yeah.
Other than all the stuff you do, I'm kind of interested to, how do you explain it? If someone says, what do you do?
Yeah, am I on? Testing, there we go. Yeah, the way I explain it is, we serve communities. We've built an ecosystem. And imagine a world where you go to your favorite barbershop to get a haircut on Friday. And on Saturday, the same guy who has the barbershop, you're drinking at one of his bars. And on Sunday, you're at a festival that this individual and his team has created. And then on Monday, with your coworkers and colleagues, you go to see some phenomenal art at the museum, all created by one mechanism. So what we've done is we've harbored a community and found additional ways to serve them. So we're community builders. Yeah.
I love it.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I make you all drinks. No, I have been a bar owner for a long time and an author. I am obsessed with history. If you ever follow me on my social media, I am always talking about some weird, crazy story that happened in Cincinnati, usually involving alcohol. But I'm so honored that I get to go and do, bartend and make drinks and experiences for so many different companies in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, and so many businesses and events all over. I'm just very, very honored. So I get to do that. I get to do history and cocktails and just be a part of the community. Oh, and I guess I'm a liquor owner too. So I got that. Gin and bourbon, yeah.
we talk about the ideas. What's the spark? What's the moment? But with both of you, it seems like more of an evolution into entrepreneurship. So you started out in hospitality. You're in San Francisco, waiting tables, want to come home.
Like getting wait tables, I'm a terrible server. Oh, I was like a bar in front of me, like every reels. Yeah, that's support. Yeah, but no, I started in. I born and raised here in Cincinnati. I'm like 7th generation Cincinnati, and I'm very proud of that. But you know, like a lot of people in the 90s, I was like, I'll go to San Francisco and see what happens. Well, I thought I'd be there for 6 months. 12 years later, I was still there. And I started bartending. I got kind of thrown into it. I didn't think I was going to do that. I thought I was going to be a jewelry designer, a fashion designer. And all of a sudden, I'm working in hospitality, and I got thrown behind the bar. I loved it. It was so great. I could make people happy, and I could be creative, and it was just so fun. And I didn't have to wake up early, which is a bonus. So I just started there. And then when I came back to Cincinnati, you know, I was like, well, I guess I could go to jewelry, but I wasn't sure how Cincinnati had changed so much. And, you know, in jewelry stores, it's kind of conservative. You don't see a lot of tattooed people selling you jewelry. And I knew they would just put me in the back and it'd be a polisher and repair. And I didn't want to do that. I like people. I like bartending. So I decided bartending was going to be where it was at. And so I did that. And I thought I'd do it for a little bit, and then lo and behold, I owned 7 bars and was voted all these awards and stuff. So,
well, tell us how you broke out from bartending to entrepreneurship. Like, what was that spark?
Well, I don't like to be told what to do, so that is pretty much it.
That's a characteristic of most entrepreneurs.
Usually is. I mean, I've always been a good employee. Don't get me wrong, but. You know, I was doing something different. You know, at the bars that I was working at, I wanted to make these classic cocktails, and I wanted to make craft cocktails. I wanted to make up my own cocktails. And some of the places, like for a minute, I was working like 3 different bartending jobs just because I don't like to be bored. And 2 of the places are like, Molly, we need you to stop talking to people and just sling these big ass beers, you know, come on. And I'm like, oh, that's just not me. And then at other bars, they'd be like, I want you just to make the list. I'm like, that's just not me. I'm, you know, they put me over in the corner and I'd be like, put my own list together. And then they'd be like, here's a special thing. And I tell the stories about each drink and everything. And lo and behold, and none of the bartenders are like, nobody wants to hear that. They all know what they want. You know, they just order. And I'm like, well, I'm not an order taker. I am a sales girl. I sell liquor. I sell drinks. And I sell experiences. So after a while, like when I was working these places, they put me in the corner and I'd be like doing my fancy stuff. And then everybody would be at my well, drinking my drinks. So I knew I had something. And I was like, well, it looks like I should look into opening my own bar because I think I have something here. And that's kind of where it started.
Nice, yeah. Okay, Rika, you're 10 years in corporate America.
Yeah, wow, it was incredible.
Where were you?
It was incredible. So I spent 7 years with Coca-Cola. My background is marketing, and another 3 years with General Electric, which brought me back home to Cincinnati. So when I left college, I was in Atlanta, of course, Coca-Cola, and then Washington, D.C., which is just an incredible place, specifically for young Black professionals. And then Los Angeles, which was, you know, LA is not my kind of place. And Molly, even though you didn't become a fashion designer, you are definitely a fashion influencer. So I want you to own that. For me, I grew up in South Avondale on Vine Street. My grandmother moved to Cincinnati in 1947 from Berlin, and as 6 years old, and we grew up in a pretty poor family, to be honest with you. So first to go to college, first to graduate college, first to pledge for a fraternity, sort of a pioneer in that way, oldest of 6 children. But the story that I always resonate with most in regards to my entrepreneurial journey is we used to take the 53 from Avondale downtown to Findlay Market, where she shopped every Sunday. And I remember being a little boy hanging out with her and looking out of those massive windows, at the time real massive. Now they're like small, right? Like airplane windows, because I have grown since then. And literally. And I would look out those windows, and at the time, and a lot of you guys remember this, I mean, you drive down Vine Street and it was nothing. It was a ghost town. And I used to dream of the things that can live in those spaces. Even at that young age, I've always had that kind of dreaming mentality. And it was really, really important for me to bring that back home. So when I came back home in 2016, to be honest with you, it was supposed to be a short stay, you know, and I was complaining to my friends. I was like, this city has evolved and developed, and you guys aren't really taking advantage of it. There was a buddy of mine who I was with earlier for breakfast, and he was like, got frustrated with me one day. He's like, why don't you do it? And I was like, I will. Maybe I will, you know? And now he's like, man, I should have did that. I'm like, don't worry about it. You don't want to be my competition. I'm a shark in the water. Don't do it to yourself. But that's where my seed was planted at, was just kind of imagination and dreaming. And to be honest with you, my pivot from corporate wasn't because I didn't like the corporate structure. It was just kind of a bet on myself sort of thing. I knew if it didn't work, that I'd just go to like Procter, Kroger, you know, do the whole show and dance, buy a house in Mason, cut my grass twice a week and live that lifestyle, right? But the reality of it was a gamble on myself, and I knew the time was the right time to do it. I didn't have any children, and it was just me, and I felt like if I'm gonna do it, I should do it now. And it's worked, right? I've got a phenomenal team. We're up to 116 employees now. It's pretty phenomenal. 65% of our talent pool are women, which means that I get to make no decisions at all, not even the smallest ones. But I'm really excited about what we're going, what we've done, and it's been really cool. But it's just about, for me, the snowball effect of gaining confidence, right? With the brick and mortars, I opened a barber shop. It was a small project. I felt like the overhead was low. That gave me the training that I needed in a commercial space. We opened one bar, and then we opened a bigger space, and now we've opened a rooftop lounge. And it was kind of just a domino effect. And then a lot of listening to our customer base as to what it is do you want next and how we continue to serve you. And that's really all we've done. So my journey was not as rough as some people who become an entrepreneur and things along those lines. It wasn't easy by any stretch of imagination, but I always say that it was definitely at Godspeed. So yeah.
That's great. And what you both do is it's immersive, and it's about bringing people together. And I'm really interested in how you bring a concept and just really keep that authenticity, because we know around here, especially like great bars, great restaurants, they're popping up, and you can walk in them and you think you can feel the heart and what is that? What do you think? How do you do that?
Yeah, for me, you know, I went through a phase early on in this journey where I had to let go of this idea of perfection, right? I learned pretty quickly, and we've all felt this in our life, whether it's with our children, raising our kids, or whatever the case may be. I've learned that we can't really release our superpowers to the world if we constantly try to keep it in the garage and perfecting. So I've learned to release these things and let these things fly off the handle and launch businesses or companies or just an initiative without perfecting it. People will perfect it for you. And I think that that's really, really powerful if you continue to grow and develop your mindset in that way. You know, there's a classic line by Mike Tyson that says, you know, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face, right? You want to get punched in the face, open up a bar. Trust me, it's going to happen for sure, hands down. But I have learned to grow into the space, to grow with the people who consume the product, to listen to them, to learn them, to be empathetic to their needs, their suggestions, their recommendations. I've also learned to throw some of that shit out a little bit because everything isn't exactly what you want to do. But that's the thing that I've tried to do. It's worked out really well for us, and we're going to continue to do it.
How about you, Mom? Concept to keeping that authenticity.
So authenticity is really important. Like I have a slogan I live by: you cannot fail at being yourself. So just be your freaking self. You know, you add character to the world. You can't copy almost somebody and do that. So I just be myself, and I don't really give a crap what anybody else thinks. But same as you, like, you know, I had all these different concepts and bars and all these ideas, and almost every single one of them, I had 7 places, and every single one of them, I had this grand idea. Oh, this is what we're gonna do. At Japs, I'm like, I'm never gonna make a Cosmopolitan. I want to bake something else for you. I'm not gonna serve Bud Light. Well, that quickly goes on.
You'll get a Cosmo. You'll get a Cosmo.
Yeah. I just made the best damn Cosmo, and then told you the story of Eric Gabriel. But then, I brought Bud Light in. I remember having a meeting for the Annex, which was the nightclub. Has anybody ever been to the Annex back in the day? Yeah, that was fun. I remember I was like, you know what? Fireball. I don't like Fireball. Can't we just make our own cinnamon whiskey? And then one of, my manager's like, Molly, we go through like 7 freaking cases a night. And I'm like, all right, we're keeping some Fireball. Yeah, we're keeping Fireball, not making that crap. All right.
That's a little bit.
Yeah, you have to. So, things like that. Just like you said, the only place that I had that I had a vision for and it worked out exactly the way I'd envisioned it, pretty much, was Myrtle's Punch House.
That was my favorite place.
I loved that. That place, the idea was there was no other bars in the area. And there's 2 things I've always, from learning history, that make a community, a town, build, a community, is the church and the tavern, right? The church and the tavern. Mm-hmm. And well, their church was already there in East Walnut Hills. And, I was like, I'm going to build the tavern. And I wanted it to be a place where people were brought together and they could share ideas while sharing a bowl of punch. And that's exactly what happens. So that one, I was like pretty amazed. I'm like, wow, this worked out just the way I wanted it. I was really sad when we had to close it, but yeah, that's another story.
All good.
Yeah, it all works out. But yeah, that just exactly what you said. And you do have to let go of things sometimes. Like I did have to serve Bud Light.
Yeah.
Well, and everyone that sits here always kind of talks about the ups and downs, and I think a common theme we hear is the resilience. And you both kind of touched on some down cycles. So, what do you think? What keeps you going in those moments?
So I didn't have to, but I wanted to sell all of my bars and get out of bar ownership. I was like, okay. It was really COVID that did it for me. I was like, all right, this is no fun anymore. I don't think it was very stressful. So that was pretty much the decision making for me. And then I sold the bars and I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do now? And I was like, all right, well, you invented yourself before, let's do it again. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Let's just put ourselves out there and see what happens. Once you jump, I learned you gotta swim. So I just started putting myself out there. It was scary, and I did reach out to a lot of friends, and I was like, hey, so you think I'm gonna be okay? You think I'm gonna do okay? And everybody's like, oh my gosh, Molly, you're gonna be fine. Yeah. And they were right. So I sold the bars in 22, it's 25, that's 3 years, and still doing pretty good, knock on wood, yeah I guess. And I have more ideas, and now my focus is, even blossomed even more. Like I want to do more with our city and, both sides of the river. I've gotten into owning a gin brand, and I've just partnered with the bourbon brands as their master taster. Like it's to do so many other things that will broaden. I have so many other ideas that I want to put with what I have been doing, what I've built already, and where this can go further for longevity. So, but it also is about serving the community as well, from what I learned, from what I know how to do, so it was important. Thank you.
Yeah, when it comes to, we have our social clubs, our bars and lounges, but our largest impact company in my eyes is still Palooza Noir, which created the Juneteenth block party 6 weeks after the George Floyd murder, and we felt like we needed to get people outside. And over the last 6 years, it has grown from 800 attendees to 46,000 people.
Wow.
And it's absolutely amazing. So the thing that, when things get sticky for us, and I do mean us, because the team that I have is absolutely phenomenal. When things get rough, what we have to remember is that on a specific date, nearly the entire city is depending on us to celebrate something significant. The entire city is depending on us to go to the Cincinnati Art Museum once a year for a 6 to 8 week period and see Black art by living artists on those walls, right? Something that on my 5th grade field trip, I didn't see, right? I was joking with Cameron. I serve on the museum board now, but I was joking with Cameron, our director. I don't remember the field trips. You're in the 5th grade, looking at something that's 300 years old isn't always that exciting, right? But looking at something that resonates with you is really important. The other part of it is that I've learned, so when you're on an airplane, I say this a lot to our team. We're on an airplane, we all put our headphones on, or we open up our Amazon Fire book or whatever, and we start literally almost immediately disregarding the flight attendant. He or she says something really important, and one of the most important things they say is that for any reason, God forsake, if this plane starts to go down, put your mask on prior to attempting to help someone else. The only reason I bring that up is I have learned throughout this journey to love me. I have learned to sustain myself. I've learned to take my breaks. I've learned to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I've learned to just enjoy me, because if I am not sustained and fulfilled, there's no way the thing could work. So I think oftentimes we have to take a break. We have to love on ourselves. We have to do things that people are like, why are you doing that, right? And because I want to. It's what I want to do. And we've got to put us first before the thing. And if we do that, the thing will always have a fair chance at working.
Yeah, that's right. So who are some people that have helped you?
They're clapping more. I got to get that back.
It's so true. It's so true.
Who are some of the people that have helped you along the way? And feel free to say your lawyers. Philippe, that's okay.
Absolutely. You know, I joke about this a lot. We're at a stage now, our one-pagers for some of the things that we used to create, when I look back at it 6 years ago, it basically said, we need a favor, we need a favor, we need a favor, we need a favor, right?
Every freaking week.
And then the next year it said, we need a favor, but not as big as last year's favor, but we still need a favor. And more, what I'm excited about is how self-sustainable these things are. But the grassroots individuals and organizations have helped so much. I don't know if some of the things would work in another region. Our 1 to 2 degree of separation here in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky region is a superpower that we don't take advantage of enough, right? And I think we've got to really, really hold on to that, because people come to our region all the time and they go, wow, how do you guys all know each other? Because it's a family. It's literally an ecosystem. And I think that that's really important. So organizations, you know, we work with Frost, work with Frost Brown Tile. It's okay.
All right.
It's all right. It's all right. We got room. We got space. Yeah, we got space. Yeah. Send your rates. It'll be great. It's all good.
It's less than this.
But it's organizations like it's organizations like DBL, it's organizations like Frost, it's organizations who are intentional about the growth of our region that we owe a lot of our thanks to. But more importantly than that, it's the people who show up.
Yeah.
You can build something really incredible, and no marketing budget is going to get people to show up. When you do it with passion, and when you do it with intentionality, and you do it with love, and you watch the people respond in the way that they do, it's really important. I'm gonna say this, and it's the first time I've spoken about it publicly, but it is what it is. We're family and we're having a good conversation. 3 weeks ago, there was a scenario that just featured my business in the background on 4th Street. We've all seen it. And when I tell you, I met with 3DC the other day, I met with Steve, and he goes, how's it affecting business? It hasn't. And the reason why is because our core fan base read right between the lines and understood this is not them. And I thought that that was really important. Sales are up, And it's back to school time, so that's kind of, I'm kind of frightening. I wonder how many kids are going back to school without new sneakers or whatever the case may be. But that is the intentionality of our community. That's the intentionality of our neighborhood. That's the inclusivity that happens within our city. And I think those things are really, really important. So we owe it to the region and we owe it to the people within the region to make it all work.
That's really powerful and really speaks to what you've built. And I want you to talk about, share who's influenced you and who's been there for you, but I also want to talk about the region before we wrap up, because I think that's really important. So
there's so many people, it's an entire city, seriously. Everyone I meet, Greg Olson, who's been a mentor of mine forever, he's a friend of yours, too. So many people. I can't even think of one specific person because it's been so many people in the city who have helped me along the way. But really, since I'm in I've been in the hospitality business in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, it's literally every person I have ever been able to serve a drink to. It really is. I love this city. I love the people in it. I love everything about it. And I think it's amazing. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that what we hear a lot, the people that come, those people along the way, what you hear is the people at that moment. Yeah. And then if you look back, there was someone or something and helped you in that moment. So
it always has. I swear, I say that with complete honesty because I feel I don't know a stranger in this city. Yeah. And it's so cool to be able to walk around Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky and even if I don't know somebody, they usually know who I am. And I'm like, this is so neat. And I'm so grateful. That's so really cool. And everybody's so nice, That's awesome. So thank you.
Well, and before we wrap up, I want to talk about place, because that's a common theme here. And, I'm from Indianapolis and I've lived in Brooklyn and Chicago, and we chose Covington, and I've lived here for 18 years. And I think that's always so interesting, especially for you two. What you do specifically, you could both do this in Brooklyn. You could do this in DC. You could do this in Chicago. Why here?
Are you kidding me? Cincinnati is a magic you cannot find anywhere else. Yeah. This is the most amazing city with the most amazing people. And the majority there's a lot of people who are generations of families who have been here. And then there's a lot of people who moved here. And some of them were just brought here and they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna move to Cincinnati. And then they get here and they're like, oh my gosh, this town's amazing. If you know, you know. But this city, like I said, it has a magic you cannot find anywhere else. For me, the history is so rich and so amazing, and you can learn so much from it. And it's like going to another place in time, study it and being able to be able to tell those stories and tell them through, alcohol, But yeah, we drank a lot. I don't know how we're still here, but I can't believe, I know we're here because of alcohol. So, but I just think it's such a magical place with amazing people who truly, genuinely care about not only our community and our future, but also each other. So, yeah.
That's good. So think about your oven and your kitchen, right? And the cities that you named, although they are absolutely wonderful, to me, when you're baking a cake, those cities often, in my mind, if you got your oven on and you've baked this cake, it already says done, D-O-N-E. Those cities they're thriving, but they don't need Molly. They don't need Rico. They don't need you guys. This town needs us. Yeah. We met with the Sundance people last year. We got close. Shout out to Kristen.
Kristen's amazing.
She killed that, right? And the fact that we were even considered as wonderful, I think it speaks volumes to our region. But they asked a question. I spoke on a panel. We were down at Ghost Baby, and we spoke on a panel. And they said, if you could give us one word to describe this region, what would you use? And I said, ready. And that's what I think our secret sauce is. we're building, we can't forget the history of where we come from, but there's so much further to go that we're just on that oven, it just says ready, which means preheat time is over, right? Take the oven that you've layered, take the cake that you've layered and stick it in the oven, because pending you don't burn the cake, right? There's a beautiful masterpiece that can come out of it. And I'll be perfectly clear, anywhere else, I wouldn't do this work.
Yeah.
Anywhere else. It's because of the readiness of our town. It's because of the innovation. It's because of the leaders here who literally come down to the grassroots level to support and help. It's because of our nonprofit infrastructure. It's because of the people. It's because of the kids growing up throughout the neighborhoods who deserve more and more, to deserve to grow up in a more well-rounded region than we did. That's what it is. So I do it because it's ready. Yeah.
That's awesome. And
So as a slightly boring 49-year-old woman, mother of three, what's lighting you guys up right now?
oh gosh.
Well, first of all, you're aging like a Black woman. This is awesome. You look really good. Black don't crack, y'all. Black don't crack. Yeah, it's all good.
What are you
Look good,
drinking?
girl.
'Cause you
Look
keep
good.
drinking it. Oh, God. All right. So,
I'm gonna let Molly go first.
Birthday's Saturday. You made
oh
my
my
day.
gosh, I was like the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute, she's not 49. She looks like you're like 35.
I put that in my
maybe.
birthday video.
Seriously, come on. Whatever you're drinking, keep drinking it because it's working. Working. Shoot.
Question, sorry.
Yeah, that's the question again. No, I totally forgot all that. Sorry.
Distracted. What's lighting you up right now? What are you excited
Oh my
about?
gosh, there's so much. I mean, this has been an amazing summer, don't you think? We've had a great summer in our area, but I'm really excited for the fall. I'm excited for River Roots coming. I'm excited for, that's going to be really great for our region. If you don't know, just look up America's River Roots. I am excited for, oh gosh, everything really. I mean, there's so many amazing places that are starting to open up. I think, like you said, we have so much more, opportunities for more things to grow. I love, everything about it. And so I think right now that's sort of, people ask me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I only do 1 week at a time. Like, cause that's all I keep up. But even in our city, there's just so many great things that are happening in our city. So I'm just excited for the future all the time. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Cheers.
I think for me, I'm excited about what we've done over the last decade and watching things come back. Like when you think about Blink starting 12 years ago almost, it's like, wow, you know what I mean? And we're on our 5th, 6th installment of this thing taking place in our town. And it's one of a kind. People are now coming from all over the world. I'm on a Findlay Market Board, and we just joined a committee today that's going to celebrate Preparing 2027 for the 175th year of Findlay Market. Like, that's absolutely incredible. So our region has these cool things that are one of a kind of a city. But most importantly, what I'm excited about is I think Joe Burrow is going to win MVP this year. I'm really excited about that. And pending we can keep T and Jamar out of the bar, we'll have a really good season. So yeah, excited about some football. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Today, I am excited for the Bengals. I've been watching the preseason games. I love it. I'm so ready for football.
We always made it on the same thing, and it's what are you most proud of?
Oh my gosh. I'm proud to be a Cincinnatian. I am so proud to be a Cincinnatian. I really am. I live, breathe, talk, bleed Cincinnati. So that's what I'm proud of.
Yeah. I think I'm proud of my team. I mentioned earlier, I really don't embrace the philosophy of, such and such work for me. They work with me. People decide to work with us. Really passionate individual. We've got 6 leaders throughout the organization now. And I couldn't be more prouder of the individuals who have decided, hey, we want to be here. We're really proud of this work. We're really excited about this work. and they are just incredibly smart. I believe in working with people who are smarter than me, and specifically in specific areas. It definitely makes the work better, but I'd be telling just non-truth if I didn't say the team and the stakeholders are what I'm most proud of and excited about the journey moving forward.
Molly, Rico, thank you for sharing your stories with us. Thank you for being here. Round of applause. Stick around. There's plenty of cocktails, food. Yeah.